Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 118 based on novel. So let's start. Within the Thunder Ancient Kingdom, the Holy Land, Thunder Mountain. All 9 monarchs had real bodies or avatars residing here, and the Thunder Ancestor had even spared no expense in setting up terrifying formations, making this place the most dangerous place in the entire Origin continent. It was more terrifying than any of the capital cities of the Flame-Wind Ancient Kingdom. Whoosh! The wind blew, and a black-robed golden-masked figure appeared at the foot of Thunder Mountain. The emperors of the Flame-Wind Ancient Kingdom live separately, but the Thunder Ancient Kingdom has the majority gathered here. Luo Feng looked up at this holy mountain, endless thunderbolts spreading everywhere in the mountain range. The depths of this thunder mountain should contain a great Tao of thunder origin. Although the 9 origin great Taos contained in the supreme rule of the Origin continent, there was no great Tao of thunder origin. However, with Luo Feng's spiritual will was able to detect that there was a thunder avenue hidden within this holy mountain in front of him. The primordial universe could have a great Tao life origin hidden within it. The world beasts also had a great Tao of destruction origin hidden within them. With the means of the Thunder Ancestor, it was understandable that a Thunder origin great Tao could be hidden here. Eh? The powerful man in black-robed gold-faced. That mysterious black-robed golden-faced strongman has come to Thunder Mountain? The Thunder Mountain formation covered an extremely wide area. Luo Feng appeared to have only arrived at the bottom of the mountain, yet he was already within the observation range of Thunder Mountain, and immediately several monarch spirits trembled. Whoosh! There was endless thunder converging at the foot of the mountain. These thunders eventually converged into a white-robed old man. He still had thunder traveling on his body surface. Every thunder might made Luo Feng a little surprised. 9 monarchs of the Thunder Ancient Kingdom. I heard that there are 3 from the Thunder lineage. Luo Feng thought, Thunder lineage monarchs, they can utilize their chaotic origin bloodline to unbelievable strength. Like this white-robed old man in front of him, the thunder that naturally escaped, every single one of them had the strength of an Emperor Guoshu or a Wuxin God King. In terms of chaotic origin bloodline tapping, the Thunder lineage was the most powerful in the Origin continent, and the secret methods they practiced could be more lucid, allowing them to better tap into the power of their bloodline. And even their secret treasures were very much in tune with their bloodline. I am Lei Fu, the white-robed old man smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. I've heard of the Black Robe's might. With that, an invisible will spread over, silently invading towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng's spiritual will was vast and thick, a slight touch and the white-robed old man immediately withdrew his spiritual will's prying. The spiritual will can even surpass the God King level, admirable. The white-robed elder said with a smile. In the entire Origin continent when it comes to chaotic origin bloodline cultivation, the Thunder lineage of the Thunder Ancient Kingdom is recognized to be the strongest. Who would have thought that even the spiritual will secret method would be so extraordinary? Luo Feng marveled. You are overrated. The white-robed old man was curious about the identity of the black-robed golden-faced strongman in front of him. After all, in the entire Origin continent, there were too few spiritual wills that surpassed the God King level, much less than emperors and monarchs. And it was very restraining to emperors and monarchs who cultivated the chaotic origin bloodline. In front of Luo Feng, these emperors and monarchs who practiced the chaotic origin bloodline, with their secret treasures, with their ultimate realm life forms, even if they were able to stay awake, their strength would be greatly reduced. There were even some emperors and monarchs with weaker spiritual wills. It wasn't easy to stay awake normally. Once they were attacked by Luo Feng's spiritual will, it was very possible to lose control. Monarch Lei Fu, I coincidentally obtained a strange treasure, 1,000 Dreams fruit. Luo Feng said, I wonder if the Thunder Ancient Kingdom is interested? 1,000 Dreams fruit? The Thunderfer monarch smiled, of course I'm interested. I want to exchange it for a part of the corpse of an ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline creature. Luo Feng said, the more corpse materials the better, they can come from different Inquisition realm chaotic bloodline creatures. When Monarch Lei Fu heard this, he was surprised. Corpse materials. Even if you get some corpse materials, it's impossible to refine a complete chaotic origin bloodline. It's not even easy for a first ancestor to refine an ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline. I know I only need some corpse materials. Luo Feng said, I also contacted both the Yang Feng ancient kingdom and the 3 great foreign races. Whoever gives more corpse materials, I'll end up trading with whichever party. Negotiating with 5 parties at the same time, the Monarch Leu nodded slightly. Good, our Thunder Ancient Kingdom will negotiate this matter internally. With treasures of this level, it was normal for 5 parties to negotiate at the same time. I hope that within 3 days, the Thunder Ancient Kingdom will give me an answer. Luo Feng said and threw out a talisman order. Contact me through this talisman order when the time comes. The 4 most precious things, our Thunder Ancient Kingdom is willing to pay a large price for them. The Monarch Leu took the talisman order and said, don't worry, I will definitely give you a very satisfactory condition. Luo Feng nodded his head and then dissipated without a sound. Monarch Leu watched the scene. The incarnation completely annihilates itself, even the contact information must be through a talisman order? What a cautious black robe. Monarch Leu looked at the talisman order. He was curious about the identity of the black-robed golden-faced strongman, but it was obvious that Luo Feng was quite careful in his endeavors. It was extremely difficult to probe his identity. I contacted Monarch Leu and Emperor Xian at the same time. Now I'm waiting for the results. Within Huyang City, Luo Feng thought. Emperor Xian had a clone, and because he was extremely lonely and arrogant, he did things with a face. On the contrary, the other emperor monarchs were relieved to hand over many things to Emperor Xian, who was disdainful of doing something to enrich himself. So it was also very easy to find Emperor Xian's clones. I wonder what conditions these 2 kingdoms can give. Luo Feng said that he was negotiating with the 5 parties, but he was actually talking to 2 parties. Thunder Mountain, inside a lofty hall. The 9 monarchs were seated separately. They were either their real bodies or avatars. All of you. The current ruling monarch Lei Xiao looked around and opened his mouth. Just now, the black-robed gold-faced strongman wanted to sell us a copy of the 1,000 Dreams fruit, and since the price of the 1,000 Dreams fruit didn't exceed 3 billion merits, there's no need to report it to the ancestors, and it's just up to the 9 of us to discuss and decide. The 4 treasures most valued by the 2 ancestors and the 3 great foreign races. The first 2, the remains of special beings and the secret techniques left behind by Yuan, the 2 ancestors would personally come to negotiate, attaching immense importance to them. The rare treasures that were worth more than 1 billion merit? Below 3 billion merit, the monarchs could just decide collectively. Above 3 billion merit, only then will the ancestors personally negotiate. For natural secret treasures, the monarchs would first determine the value, and would only report to the ancestor if it exceeded the mysterious level of the secret pattern of Thunder Mountain. Otherwise, the monarchs could just decide. After all, secret treasures that were lower than Thunder Mountain would also have low use to the Thunder Ancestor. Is it true that the Black Robe spiritual will surpasses the God King level? The spiritual will is that strong? One by one, the monarchs didn't care too much about the strange treasures. Instead, they were very concerned about the strength of the black-robed golden-faced strongman. I cast a mind secret technique to try and reach him. Monarch Leu said, it's certain that his spiritual will does surpass the God King level. This kind of strong person is most troublesome. Another one has popped up. Many of the monarchs of the Thunder Ancient Kingdom were quite upset. This kind of strong person was too restraining for them. It was probably only the 3 monarchs of the Thunder lineage who were better off. They were sober enough to lower their strengths a bit, presumably. Let's get down to business, said Monarch Leu Xiao. That black robe said that what he needs are corpse materials of ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline creatures, which can come from different creatures, the more the better. He's negotiating with 5 parties at the same time, and whoever gives more will be the party he ends up trading with. What does he need these corpse materials for? It's not like these bits and pieces can refine a single copy of the chaotic origin bloodline. Feed the world beasts. Utilizing these materials to cultivate the physical body? Studying the material mysteries and comprehending the great Tao? This black robe's mind is strong, so he may want to use these materials to strengthen his physical body. If both the physical body and mind are strong, then it will be even more difficult to deal with. The monarchs had various speculations. The ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline body had many uses, but a small amount of mutilated materials had much fewer uses. These monarchs didn't care about the Thousand Dreams fruit, but they cared whether or not the black-robed gold-faced strongman's strength would be further enhanced. Everyone, let's get down to business. Monarch Leu said again. It's just a Thousand Dreams fruit, just give him 20 or 30% of the body materials. The monarchs didn't care, even if they exchanged the materials, they would still end up giving them to the Thunder Ancestor. The Thunder Ancestor didn't give them much in the way of rewards. The three great foreign races were transported to our origin continent from other origin worlds, so what they brought with them were all precious things. Either Bayon God King level secret treasures, or a refined portion of an ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline, or a complete ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline body material. A small amount of body materials for an ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline creature of low value like this wouldn't be too much even if they were brought. Right, the remains brought by the three great alien races are usually the remains of low-grade chaotic origin life forms. This black robe, he only needs ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline creature remnants of body. The three great foreign races can't give much. Instead, it's the Flame-Wind Ancient Kingdom that might be able to take out quite a few mutilated materials. A small amount of corpse materials couldn't refine the complete bloodline and could only be thrown away in the treasure vault. 20 to 30% of the corpse body materials are indeed enough. They weren't willing to give too much, for fear of making the black-robed, gold-faced strongman a whole lot stronger. 30% then. Monarch Leu made a decision. The treasure trove came from the remaining mutilated corpses of the two ultimate realm, chaotic origin bloodline creatures, one accounting for 12% of the corpses, and one accounting for 17% of the corpses. A cumulative 29%. To put it nicely, it was equivalent to 30% of the materials of a corpse. In the Flame-Wind Ancient Kingdom, the 12 emperors were also discussing this matter. The Thousand Dreams fruit was really obtained by the Black Robe. Emperor Luo Feng said, "In my opinion there's no need to give him too much. He exchanged the Thousand Dreams fruit for it, so obviously he needs the ultimate realm chaotic bloodline body material very much, and we'll have to give him less of what he needs." A Thousand Dreams fruit, the first ancestor doesn't place too much importance on it either. Emperor Kong also said. Humph. Emperor Luo Feng said in a cold voice, "All four treasures are needed by the first ancestor, although the Thousand Dreams fruit is slightly less valuable, so we emperors can just decide collectively. However, the first ancestor will ultimately check every one of our collective decisions as well. You guys are so inattentive. Once the first ancestor is angry, who will bear the consequences? In my opinion, you must at least give a condition that the first ancestor won't be outraged. At the very least, it shouldn't make the first ancestor tremble with anger." Emperor 11 also said. "I think 20 to 30% is about right." Emperor Chu said, 20 to 30% of an ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline corpse is definitely not a low condition. It has to be chosen from different corpses, said Emperor Yang, otherwise, maybe he has a special secret method that can refine a bloodline. The emperors conferred. Emperor Fu watched the scene. Everyone. Emperor Fu finally spoke. There are now 3 ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline corpses of incomplete materials within the treasure trove. All of them add up to a total of 50% of the corpse materials. I think that we can take all of it out and buy this 1000 dream fruit. All of them? Everyone present looked at Emperor Fu. In the hearts of the emperors, there was a general perception of the value of the 1000 dreams fruit, and the general consensus was that 20 to 30% of the body of an ultimate realm chaotic origin bloodline was about right. Now, Emperor Fu was proposing a full 50% of the corpses, which indeed made all the emperors quite surprised. 50%? Emperor Yang frowned at Emperor Fu. Even if it's from different corpses, 50% of corpse materials, it's too much. The other emperors didn't say anything as they also looked at Emperor Fu. Emperor Fu smiled faintly. 50% of corpse materials, is that too much? In my opinion, not much at all. I think it's quite a lot. Emperor Yuan also frowned and said, Emperor Fu, are you intentionally taking the clan's treasures and giving them to this black robe? Do you know this black robe? Emperor Fu didn't say anything, but his face turned cold. This is the collective deliberation of the emperors. Emperor Xian chimed in, every emperor can voice their opinion. Emperor Fu merely voiced an opinion, and Emperor Yuan, you're saying that he intentionally sent treasures to the black robes? Emperor Yuan, you've gone too far. Emperor Fu is only voicing an opinion, the final decision is still a collective decision. Emperor Jiufeng also opened his mouth, quite dissatisfied. Humph. Emperor Yuan sneered, I'd like to see just what reasons Emperor Fu has. Emperor Fu looked at Emperor Yuan, of the 13 emperors, you have caused the most trouble for the imperial clan. You are the least qualified to say this. Emperor Yuan's face changed as he angrily shouted, Emperor Fu, you have targeted me again and again. Today, it is you who is targeting me. Emperor Fu stared at him coldly, I'm the current ruling emperor, am I turning a blind eye to those messes of yours? What, are you going to collectively deliberate on your crap today? Emperor Yuan laughed coldly, it's just that, let's not talk about that, I'd like to see why you want to exchange 50% of the corpse materials for a single 1,000 dreams fruit. Emperor Fu looked around, let's get on with the business. I'd like to ask, do you emperors sincerely want to buy this copy of the 1,000 dreams fruit? Or do you not want to buy it? The many emperors present were stunned. If one merely offers 30% of the corpse materials, do you think that one can buy the 1,000 dreams fruit? Emperor Fu asked again, I believe that everyone knows in their hearts that the Thunder Ancient Kingdom has more corpse materials than we do, and I'm afraid that they will also bid up to 30 or 40%. And the three major foreign races, the general offer is a bit higher than our two major ancient kingdoms. The three great foreign races, I'm afraid they don't have so many corpse materials. Emperor Yuan said. The three great foreign races will come up with other conditions, such as a small amount of remains of low-grade chaotic origin life forms. Emperor Fu said, all in all, with my understanding of the three great foreign races, their offers are definitely on top of the two great ancient kingdoms. The emperors present were silent. Yes. It had always been this way. The hometowns of the three great foreign races didn't have such wondrous treasures, and they were willing to pay a higher price for each one. And the two ancestors of the two kingdoms had gotten too many of them, but instead, they were even more picky. Offering 30% of the corpse materials, everyone knows very well that the possibility of success is extremely low. It just won't be blamed by the patriarchs. Emperor Fu said, if one sincerely wants to buy this 1,000 dreams fruit for the beginning ancestor, one must offer more than 40% of the corpse materials in order to have any hope of surpassing the three great foreign races and capturing the 1,000 dreams fruit. We only have a total of 50% within our treasury, offering 40%, and offering 50%. Is there much difference to us? What can we do with some of the remaining materials? Emperor Fu said, 40% of the corpse materials, the probability of success is still not high. I predict that the bids of the three major foreign races are generally in this range, and may even be a bit higher. 50% of the corpse materials will only be more hopeful. Paying such a large price to force this 1,000 dreams fruit? Emperor Yuan laughed coldly. Don't forget. Emperor Fu looked around, the origin continent has entered its end stage. A jolt went through the hearts of the emperors present. The further into the future the dream realm produces top-notch wonders, the rarer they will become. Emperor Fu said, and we will have to leave the origin continent before it ends. The 1,000 dreams fruit may not be of much use to the originator, but it will be of great use to us. The hearts of the other 11 emperors stirred. This top-notch curiosity can also be our turn? Emperor Kong couldn't help but say, his eyes blazing. Because it was purchased for the patriarch, everyone wasn't too concerned. But if it was taken by oneself, the amount I owe the clan isn't too high. Emperor Fu said, I will take the initiative to apply to the beginning ancestor to buy this 1,000 dreams fruit, and I will bear the so-called price myself. The eyes of Emperor Ming, who had been silent all this time, lit up, and he also said, I will also apply. Of the 12 emperors present, in terms of liabilities, Emperor Ming and Emperor Fu owed the least to their clans, and both still had sufficient amounts to buy the 1,000 Dreams fruit. So that's what you're planning to do. We're going to leave the origin continent in the future, and we won't have the chance to obtain such top-notch wonders in the future. Each of these emperors were a little moved. They couldn't live in the next era of the origin continent, and after leaving the origin continent, they would want to obtain this level of wondrous treasures again? It would be too difficult. Didn't they see the three great foreign races, breaking the boundary and teleporting to the origin continent, paying that great price, all willing to buy the 1,000 Dreams fruit? We can't afford it. Empyrean Kong, Empyrean Chu, and the others were all quite hot-eyed one by one. The two originators of the two countries were the ones who made the emperors and monarchs of the two ancient countries carry huge debts, and the emperors and monarchs wanted more treasures? Then they had to pay off their debts first. So one by one, they desperately tried to collect the top treasures. The two patriarchs didn't need to spend their minds and energies, and these emperors and monarchs offered up their many treasures. I'm willing to buy it with 50% of the corpse materials, and I'll also take the initiative to apply to buy the 1,000 Dreams fruit from the patriarchs. Any greater cost, I'll bear it myself. Emperor Fu looked around, offering 50% of the corpse materials. Does everyone still have an opinion? Good. Emperor Ming nodded. When the time comes to apply to the first ancestor, to each his own. Emperor Fu also nodded. Emperor Fu did want the 1,000 Dreams fruit. After taking it, one would be able to experience 1,000 reincarnations in a dream, cultivate like in the dream world, be able to accumulate senses, and be able to hone the mind. Such a treasure was of great value. That is to say, the cultivation to a very high realm, and has obtained similar treasures of the two countries of the originators do not care too much. The 1,000 Dreams fruit has the best effect the first time you take it. Later on, the second and third time, the help will become lower and lower. I don't have a problem with it. Emperor Xian nodded. Emperor Fu, you bear it yourself, so of course you have no problem with it. Emperor Kong lamented. It's a pity I can't afford it. Emperor Chu shook his head. One by one, the emperors were fine with it. Even Emperor Yang didn't object at the moment. They could tell that the emperor's resolution would definitely be able to exceed half. Then this matter is settled. Emperor Fu nodded his head. Emperor Fu. Emperor Yang suddenly spoke. If the Black Robe agrees to this transaction, I can spectate, right? Emperor Fu glanced at Emperor Yang and nodded with a smile. Of course you can. Emperor Yang nodded. Emperor Yang Palace. Emperor Yang, Emperor Wu, Emperor 11, and the three of them gathered. Big brother, you're going to spectate this transaction? Emperor Wu looked at Emperor Yang in confusion. Emperor Yang nodded. You guys should know that I was the first in the entire imperial clan to become an Empyrean, and Emperor Wu was the second to become an emperor. At that time, we were both cultivating the chaotic origin bloodline and had quite a deep bond, and I helped him quite a bit. Emperor Wu and Emperor 11 all nodded their heads. In the entire imperial clan, I should know Wu the most. Emperor Yang said, I've always wanted to rope in Emperor Fu to join us, and in the future, after we leave the origin continent, the four of us can act jointly. With Emperor Fu's attainments in formation, if he joins us, our team's strength will at least double. Emperor Wu nodded his head, but big brother, you've been pulling for so long, and he simply ignored it. Yes. Emperor Yang nodded. Emperor Wu's nature, on the surface, is gentle, but in reality, he is extremely decisive. Back then, he just didn't hesitate to give up his chaotic origin bloodline and choose to reincarnate. There were also many collective decisions were made by the emperors before. He sometimes still gives me some face, but sometimes he stands directly against me. He isn't influenced by favors, and I can't influence what he decides. Emperor Yang said, I've long understood that it's impossible for him to join us. It's just that this time, it's very rare for him to be so bent on having his way, said Emperor Yang, although his explanation was sufficient, that he himself wanted that share of the 1,000 dream fruit. But I've been with him for too long, and it doesn't feel right to me that he's so determined. That's why for this transaction, I'm prepared to observe from the sidelines. It just so happens that I'm also quite interested in that black robe. Emperor Yang, don't make an enemy of Emperor Fu. Emperor 11, who had been silent, spoke, you can't fight him. Emperor Yang was stunned, looked at his wife and smiled. I know. To refine his body into an ultimate realm life form without the aid of external objects and by virtue of a formation, only Emperor Fu could do so in the origin continent. The ultimate realm life forms of the other powerhouses were either made with the help of the chaotic origin bloodline, or with the help of many precious chaotic origin materials. Emperor Fu's attainments in formations were unimaginable, and he had also exchanged powerful formation secret treasures with the ancestor, so his strength was naturally even more terrifying. This was still on the surface. Emperor Yang knew very well that Emperor Fu had been very capable of hiding. In terms of scheming, who in the origin continent can outsmart him? Emperor Yang said, honestly, although it is said that the identity of the Black Robe is mysterious and unknown, if anyone from the two ancient kingdoms can surmise his identity, I feel that Emperor Fu is the first to be able to do so. This time, when the Black Robe fought with Emperor Luo Feng and Emperor Wu, it can be determined that the Black Robe possesses a physical body that is no less than an ultimate realm life form. Emperor Yang said, the physical body is terrifying, and the spiritual will surpass the God-King level. Emperor Ming, after all, has the resources of the imperial clan to cultivate him. For this Black Robe to reach this point as an idol cultivator is even more terrifying than Emperor Ming. I have a feeling that there might just be a connection between Emperor Fu and the Black Robe. Emperor Yang said. As the origin continent enters its end stage, we should be more attentive since. Emperor Yang looked at Emperor 11 and Emperor Wu. The three of us have to strive for any great opportunity. The might within the origin continent is limited to the upper limit of the ultimate realm. So as long as they can get involved, we can intervene. The more opportunities we capture, the stronger we become, and the three of us will be able to live better when we leave the origin continent in the future. Emperor Yang said. Emperor Wu and Emperor 11 both nodded their heads. They didn't look at ordinary chances, but precious resources. If they could meddle with them, they would never let them go. Luo Feng got a reply from the two ancient kingdoms. The Thunder Ancient Kingdom was willing to take out about 30% of the corpse materials. These 30% of the corpse materials originated from two different Ultimate Realm Chaotic Origin bloodline corpse. The Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom was willing to take out about 50% of the corpse materials, which originated from three different Ultimate Realm Chaotic Origin bloodline corpse. The Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom took out so much. Luo Feng was surprised. The conditions given by the Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom were really too good. Even if he negotiated with the three great foreign races, it's afraid that the Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom's conditions would be the best. Your Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom's conditions are slightly better than the three great foreign races. I'm willing to sell the 1,000 dream fruit to you. Luo Feng responded to Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom through the talisman order, and the two sides also determined the time and place of the handover. A small city on the border of the Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom, Snowtop City. This city was built on top of a lofty mountain range. It snowed all year round and there weren't many cultivators living here, just billions. The highest part of the city, which is also the highest peak of the entire lofty mountain range, is completely sealed today, prohibiting all cultivators from approaching. Whoosh! Black-robed golden-masked Luo Feng appeared in the sky, because it is to carry out 1,000 dreams fruit deal, Luo Feng to prevent the Flame Wind Ancient Kingdom hard robbery, so this time his physical body, he can explode the strongest strength of the state, to reach 56 times the perfect divine body energy reserves of the world life form, and Luo Feng also carries the Star Tower. Whoosh! As soon as Luo Feng took a step, he had already reached the top of the mountain. There were already two figures at the top of the mountain, their aura naturally affecting the surrounding heaven and earth. It was none other than Emperor Fu and Emperor Yang. Here he comes. Emperor Fu and Emperor Yang also saw the black-robed golden-faced strongman appear. This video will end here.